The Little Things is the latest crime drama from Warner Brothers Pictures, distributed in Australia by Universal. It stars Academy Award winners Denzel Washington, Rami Malek and Jared Leto, and is written and directed by Lee Hancock. Before we get into this, don't forget to hit that like button down below. It does wonders in getting my content out there, and if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button and the bell icon to keep up to date with all my content. In October 1990, Kern County Deputy Joe Deacon is sent to Los Angeles for a quick evidence-gathering assignment. However, he soon becomes embroiled in the search for a killer who is terrorizing the city, when LA County's Homicide Sergeant Jim Baxter unofficially engages his help. As they track the killer, the investigation begins to dredge up echoes of Deke's past, uncovering disturbing secrets that could threaten more than Baxter's case. The Little Things is a good old-fashioned crime drama of the kind that was absolutely rampant in the 1990s, but of which I feel like we don't get that much of anymore. You think of movies like Seven, Primal Fear, The Bone Collector, which starred Denzel. This movie feels so authentic to these movies and others that were made during the period. It actually didn't surprise me to find out that Lee Hancock wrote the original draft of this screenplay back in the 1990s, like almost 30 years ago. Makes me feel a little bit old. I am a child of the 90s. These are the kinds of movies that I grew up with and movies that I always find myself drifting back towards now. Now, like a lot of the movies from this era, The Little Things it's slow. I just gotta say it. It's a very slowly burning pot boiler of a crime drama thriller. And I know a lot of people have been saying it's underwhelming, it's too slow for their liking, but for me, it worked perfectly. Again, because I say that this is just so authentically like those movies that were made in the past. And I'm so familiar with these movies that I recognize exactly what it was trying to be, or what it is essentially. You know, in the last 30 years of cinema, things have changed, the face of cinema's changed, the way these kinds of movies are made are changed. When you go and see a crime thriller these days, it's high stakes, it's fast paced, there's probably a lot of action in there as well. Don't expect a lot of action out of this movie. It's a very subdued piece. It's a very kind of, stylistically kind of gritty film that really commands your attention for this 2-hour runtime. It's not a very long film. It's like, without credits, it's pretty much bang on 2 hours, but it does kind of, you can feel the length in there. But again, I don't think that is to its detriment. Now that said, a lot of the narrative beats from this film are very derivative of the movies during the period, and whether this is because it was originally written during the 90s, or whether Hancock tried to build this in the mold of a 90s film now in 2021. Of course, these kinds of movies, there are lots of twists and turns and revelations and all that kind of stuff. I gotta say, some of them were quite predictable. Like, you'll predict, or you'll guess some of them fairly early on in the movie. But there are a couple of things that do knock you for six. They do just come straight out of left field and are really unexpected. And I thought that was really good. I kind of like the mix between the two. You know, seeing a movie like this where there's a few things that feel really familiar, or things that you've seen before, it's almost like a comfort blanket. But then when you have something that comes out of nowhere and really goes, hey, I wasn't expecting that to happen, I think that's kind of maybe, defying those expectations. I think that's a lot of fun. But the other thing that's really good with this is that you are really left really quite tense throughout the movie. You are on the edge of your seat, kind of still trying to guess. Even though everything feels like it's going in a certain direction, you are second guessing yourself. It's a very thrilling movie, and it's very haunting. It's very chilling as well. The atmosphere that is created in this film is so dark, it's so gritty. I just thought it was so really, really wonderful. The performances in here are a lot of fun as well. Denzel delivers a terrific performance as always. Denzel is amazing. He's one of my favorite actors ever, of all time. Again, I feel like I've heard a lot of people saying that Denzel wasn't giving it his all in this movie because, again, it's a very subdued performance. But I have to say, to give a performance like this, you do have to be a very talented, experienced actor, because his performance is so laid back. But that's part of the character, and that's part of the narrative that's being told here. You really have to believe that this guy is such a reserved kind of character, and it's all about what's going on inside of his head and not sort of what is on the surface. And the way that Denzel captures that in this film, I think was absolutely terrific. Rami Malek is an actor whose work I've kind of been hot and cold on in the past. I thought he was really good here, but maybe a touch miscast. At times it feels like he doesn't exactly fit in with this world, but with the material that he's given and the fact that he is in the movie, he does very well with it. Jared Leto, his performance is really out of this world. It's almost like he is acting in a completely different movie to everyone else, because he is so wild, he's wacky, he's zany, and you can just tell he's having a whole lot of fun, just as his character is in this movie as well. And like I said, it's such a stark contrast to everything else that is going on. It can be a little bit of something that does throw you off. Again, I've heard other people kind of say that Jared Leto just felt completely out of place, but he doesn't. He makes this movie work, and to have a character that is so manic and madcap playing off as someone that's just so subtle and so subdued, I think adds this really nice dynamic to the movie. And that's what this movie is all about. It's all about dynamics, and whether that's with these narrative story beats or whether it's the actors that are in this movie who are all playing off each other, all Academy Award-winning actors, by the way. It's always fantastic when you get these big, heavyweight Academy Award performers playing off each other. There's just some terrific scenes in here, whether that's just dialogue scenes or, great dramatic performances. Really wonderful. As I said, look, I enjoyed this film. I thought it was really good. And because I am someone who does enjoy a good, slowly burning crime thriller, it's a movie that was just kind of right down my alley. And with that, I'm very happy to be giving The Little Things a 3.5 out of 5. The Little Things is a haunting, bone-chilling, atmospheric thriller that sports terrific performances from its 3 leads. While the narrative is a little derivative at times, it's engaging and enjoyable, and there are some surprises in here. With Denzel taking us along for the ride, it's a wonderful return to the good old-fashioned crime flick that keeps you on edge, guessing right to the last turn. Of course, over in the States, the film is already open in cinemas and on HBO Max, but here in Australia, it opens in cinemas on the 18th of February. There'll be a very small preview season between the 12th and the 14th where you can go and check it out, throw some more money back into our economy, help our film industry get back up on its feet now that cinemas are open. This was actually the first movie that I got to see in the cinema for almost an entire year, so it was really wonderful to finally return, get that popcorn, get that theatre, just that whole experience was wonderful. So thanks to the amazing team over at Universal Pictures here in Australia, who are distributing Warner Brothers films going forward, for organising the screener, for making this a possibility for the purposes of this review. And thanks to everybody out there for watching. I'll see you on the next one. Take it easy. Hey everyone, if you haven't yet, smash that big old subscribe button up on your screen to keep up to date with all my content, and hit that like button down below. Also, don't forget to check me out on social media, and please consider supporting me over on Patreon for as little as $1 a month for exclusive videos, early access content, and to get your name up on the screen. Thanks again for watching.